Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Pokemon Blue version. Today we will be heading through the underground path to Vermillion City and checking out the area there. Before we head under the ground, if we talk to this little girl, we can see she wants to offer a trade her Nidoran male for her Nidoran female for our Nidoran male. In Pokemon Blue version, this is not really a good trade due to how common Nidoran females are for us and how rare Nidoran males are. But in Pokemon Red version, this would actually be a pretty decent trade because it's harder to find Nidoran females versus the Nidoran males. In Pokemon Yellow, you're actually presented with a different trade. She will instead ask you for a Cubone, which we haven't come across yet, and she will trade you a Machoke, which means in Pokemon Yellow version you have the ability to get a Machamp. So we've already seen her that we're able to get a Gengar in Yellow. We're now also able to get the other trait evolution of Machamp. So we are now in the underground path for routes 5 and 6. This will take us underneath the city that's in between them and take us down to Vermillion City. First, if we take our step to the left and press A, we can find a full restore. A full restore is actually one of the best healing items in the game because it does not just recover all your Pokemon's HP, it also heals any status effects that are currently on them. So confusion, burn, paralysis, sleep, freeze. And while we're on the underground, we also can find one more item. If we take, I believe it's 6 steps up, we can find another one. So we need to make sure we line up. We're in the second tile from the right. Go up a couple steps, press A, and we can find an X Special. So an X Special is like the X Defense that Misty used in the previous gym battle, but instead of raising your defense by 1 stat, it will raise your special attack by, your special by 1, since special defense and special attack haven't been split yet. And kind of your hint to that was that girl saying that there is a lot of items that people drop in that tunnel, but they're kind of hard to find unless you kind of know where to look. So we are now on Route 6. And Route 6 is just like Route 5. It's the exact same encounters. So you can run into Mankey in Red along with Oddish and Pidgey. And then in Blue version, Meowth, Pidgey, Bellsprout. But I mentioned last episode that we couldn't enter in the city between Cerulean and Viridian for a really weird reason, and as we just saw, it's because the guard is thirsty. This is true of all 4 guards surrounding this town, well, the city. They all happen to be thirsty, so as we make our way down Route 6, we're going to take on a few trainers, but I want to leave some available for later, just in case I need to train up. So starting off with his bug catcher, he starts off with a Weedle, level 16, so this could easily be a Beedrill right now and be much more of a threat. But Parasy can handle this by using his classic Stun Spore and Scratch strategy. So 2 scratches almost take out Weedle. We got kind of unlucky there, but with the paralysis, we're able to take it out with a 3rd scratch. Next, the bug catcher sends out Caterpie. We'll keep Parasy in here. Caterpie is less of a threat than Weedle, so not really concerned. I'm just going to use Scratch. I'm not going to even bother with the Stun Spore. And the Caterpie gets a critical hit off, but we can take it out with 2 scratches. Percy gained some more experience. Next, he sends out another Weedle, level 16 again, and I'm just going to continue to use Scratch. Not really concerned about this battle. Yes, Poison Sting can do a fair amount, but we're kind of starting to outlevel the opponents around here by enough that we can kind of be a little more risky with our plays. So we continue to head south. We see some water. Luckily, we can avoid these two trainers due to them looking at each other instead of looking around. We can avoid this next trainer by kind of walking in this grass off to the side. But these last two trainers before Vermillion City, we are unable to avoid, so we will have to take them both on. Me? Well, okay, I'll play. So we have a female junior trainer. She sends out a Pidgey. We send out Parasy, so this isn't the necessary best matchup, so let's switch out to Kaiser so we can easily take out the Pidgey. Of course, it starts off with Sand Attack to lower our accuracy, but we should still be pretty good where we can use Horn Attack and not have to worry too much about our accuracy drops. And we're getting very close to taking out Pidgey with one hit from Kaiser's Horn Attack. Both Parasy and Kaiser gain some experience. We're going to keep Kaiser in, take out another Pidgey. Going to be much of the same story. Uses Gus this time, but we're able to take it out after getting hit by a quick attack that unfortunately was a critical. So we take a fair bit of damage, but we're able to win. And she sends out her final Pidgey, just using the same strategy of just Horn Attack. And that Sand Attack finally caught us and we missed. And Kaiser's starting to get kind of low in health, so this quick attack brings us fairly low, and that was not a good miss. And we're getting fairly unlucky, and Kaiser just survives, but this quick attack's going to take him out. And of course, it was a critical. Okay, so we'll send out Gimbu to revenge our fallen Kaiser. We're just going to use Tackle. It should be close enough to take it out. We will not use Dig due to, one, it taking 2 turns, but also, since Pidgey is a flying type, it is immune to ground type attacks. Next, we take on this male junior trainer. He only has 2 Pokemon, and he starts off with Spearow. We send out Parasy, switching into Gimbu. He's still at full health, so he should be able to last longer. Hit it with a water gun since it's at full health. Take it out over just half. It lowers our attack, but luckily with our water gun being a special attack, it does not affect it. Parasy and Gimbu both gain 99 experience, and now he sends out Raticate. So, Raticate is a bit more of a challenge, but we're going to use Dig for the first time. So, Gimbu digs a hole. Since Raticate is faster, it will attack but miss because we're not above ground. We then hit with Dig, taking about half of its health out. It uses a quick attack. It was still outspeeding us, so it doesn't really necessarily matter. But we can also see here, Dig protects us from this tail whip so our stats don't get lowered. And then we get a critical hit. And Gimbu gains a good amount of experience. So we can see how Dig is going to be very advantageous, but now we are in Vermillion City. First stop, Pokemon Center to heal up and revive Kaiser. So Vermillion City, a seafaring town. So this is where it kind of, to me, became the first place where you really get to see people in Pokemon interacting in so many different ways. So as we come out here and go to the left, we can find a fisherman. I'm the fishing guru. I simply love fishing. Do you like to fish? Yeah? Grand, I like your style. Take this and fish, young one. Phoenix received the old rod. Fishing is a way of life. From the seas to river, go out and land the big one, young one. So, the old rod is a future key item, but for us, just a normal item in our bag, and it allows us to fish. So if we come out here to the water, we can go to our items. We have to scroll down to Old Rod, select it, and we cast it out, and we can land a Pokemon. Ooh, it's a bite. And we encounter Magikarp. Again. But not for $500. And it is level 5. So, the old rod only lets you catch Magikarps at level 5. So, if you bought the one back before Mount Moon, you have the same thing as if you were using an O-Rod. It just costs you 2.5 Pokeballs. So, honestly, old rod is not that great, but we will be encountering other rods later on. So, the SS and is marooned at the harbor, so we could go visit it. But as we explore this town, we can come across this guy. I'm putting up a building on this plot of land. My Pokemon is tamping the land. Machop, grow, grow, grow. And Machop is stomping the land flat. So we are seeing this actual use of Machop in building a building. Flattening out the land so they can now later construct the structure. If we come down to the mart, we can see they actually have some new items for us. First being the Super Potion. The Super Potion is a more expensive version of the potion, but it heals more compared to a potion. A potion heals 20 HP, where a Super Potion heals 50 HP. We also can get Ice Heals now. So Ice Heals heal the status affliction of Frozen, which is very much like Sleep. But the trade-off is there are ways to get out of it. I believe in this, starting with this game. If not, the next game, where if you use a fire type move, it dethaws you. But it's just kind of like another version of Sleep. So use it for helping catch Pokemon. There's just one area that really kind of pushes it. Next, Pidgey. I'm getting my Pidgey to fly a letter to Saffron in the north. So Saffron is the city between Celadon and Vermillion. Dear Peepee, I hope to see you soon. Peppy, that's probably his name. I heard Saffron has problems with Team Rocket. Vermillion appears to be safe. So as we can see here, he's using his Pidgey as a carrier pigeon to send letters to the north. If we come over here, do you have a Spearow? Want to trade it for Farfetch'd? So we encounter our third in-game trade. This time for something actually a bit more reasonable. The issue with the first trade was us not having access to Poliwhirl. The second trade is not really that great for us, so we skipped over them. But this one we can actually do. So if we come to my PC, I can withdraw a Spearow, so I can trade it for Farfetch'd. So let's head back and do our first in-game trade. kind of as a habit, I try to do in game trades when they're available because I always find it interesting to see what you can get. So we'll trade Spearow for Farfetch'd. Okay, connect the cable like so. So this is a reference to the link cable that you would have to use on the original Game Boy to actually trade Pokemon with your friends or acquaintances. So we send our Farfetch'd over to Trainer. Spearow went to Trainer. For Phoenix Spearow, Trainer sends Farfetch. Trainer waves farewell as Farfetch is transferred. And here comes our Farfetch, and as we can tell, it's another flying type. So Farfetch is a normal flying type and is well known for the leak it carries around. Phoenix traded Spearow for Farfetch'd. Thanks, pal. How's my old Farfetch? My Spearow is doing great. So, Farfetch is a normal flying type. And as we can see, it's level 5 like the Spearow. We traded it. So, when you do in-game trades, they will trade you a Pokemon of the same level. So, it may be beneficial to level up a Pokemon before you train it if you want to. Farfetch is very much a jack of all trades, master of none. Its stats are fairly even across the board. It doesn't evolve in this game because it's the Cantonian version of Farfetch. But now if we come over here, we can see a Pokemon here, Seal Karoo. And then this girl, I just love my Seal. It squeals when I hug it, as long as you're not hugging it too tightly. Chew, Pikachu. My Pikachu is twice as cute as that one. Our chairman is very vocal about Pokemon. If someone brags, brag right back. So this place is actually important. And if you talk to the chairman, I am the chairman of the Pokemon fan club. I've collected over 100 Pokemon. I'm very fussy when it comes to Pokemon. So, did you come to visit to hear about my Pokemon? Yeah. Good, then listen up. My favorite, Rapidash. It's cute, lovely, smart, plus amazing. You think so? Oh yes, stunning, kindly, love it. Hug it when sleeping, warm and cuddly, spectacular, ravishing. Oops, look at the time. I've kept you too long. Thanks for hearing me out. I want you to have this. Phoenix received a bike voucher. Exchange that for a bicycle. Don't worry, my Pharaoh will fly me away anywhere, so I don't need a bicycle. I hope you like cycling. So this is the Pokemon fan club. And it's another way people interact with their Pokemon. They're not necessarily battlers, but they have them as pets. So, and then we see the chairman talking about his favorite Rapidash. But he also mentioned he just uses Pharaoh to fly him around. Why does he need a bicycle? So, I'm now heading back to Vermillion City to the bike shop so we can exchange that bike voucher. And this is a long, slow walk right now, but once we get that bicycle, it's going to speed up a fair amount. So, as I play this game, it just brings back so many memories. And when I first played Pokemon Blue, I didn't like reading the dialogue. I just would mash A through it. So, I'm kind of always impressed at how much I got done back in when I played it that first time. Ooh, that's a bike voucher. Okay, here you go. Phoenix exchanged the bike voucher for a bicycle. So now we have the bicycle. And I suggest moving it up to the top of your item list. So pressing select, and then you just scroll up and press select again, and now we have it up there for us to use. And as we kind of see here, we're starting to get full up on items again, so I'm going to run to the Pokemon Center and drop them off. It's like I can't remember exactly how many spaces for items you have, but I know if you're not careful, you can start getting full, and it kind of gets annoying. So I'm going to drop off the elixir because I don't plan to use it, and I accidentally deposit my bicycle. This comes back from me mashing A all the time because I didn't like dialogue. I still have that habit, and I'll always click on that first item to deposit it in the PC. So I'm going to keep going, depositing my TMs, probably my Elite Ether, the full restore, because those are good items for later on near the end of the game. And sometimes I deposit like items I don't really need. So like this X Special, I don't really use it. So I'm just going to get it out of my bag for now. Make sure you don't get rid of that SS ticket. Since the old rod only catches us Magikarps, I also don't really need it. So before we head out, I need to withdraw my bicycle because that is the star of this episode. And because I withdrew it, I need to reorganize my bag so it's back up top. And I have ducks with me now. I forgot to deposit it. I can do it later. It's not a big deal. But ducks can also have another use due to it having that leak. It can learn certain important moves later on. So you may want to get it. But here we go. We're riding the bicycle. And unfortunately, due to the audio being out, you don't get to hear the bicycle theme, which I kind of hate because it's a very joyous song. But the sad part is every time we want to ride our bicycle, we're not really allowed to ride it indoors with the exception of the underground path. So now we can speed on through. But every time we enter a normal building, it kicks us off, sadly. But this is why I put the bicycle up top so we can easily switch on it. But trainers can still spot you while you're riding your bicycle. So we have one last fight here, and then we're back in Vermillion City. And this bug catcher sends out a Butterfree, the final evolution of Caterpie and Metapod. Butterfree is a bug flying type, but it does actually specialize in certain psychic type moves and the different powder moves. In this case, Sleep Powder, which put Kaisers to sleep. And this was probably not my best switch in because now Butterfree uses Confusion and takes out half of Kaiser health while sleeping, which puts us in a very difficult position. So I need to switch out to Gimbu here. And it immediately puts Gimbu to sleep. So it seemed like the AI predicted my switch or kind of realized I swapped. And is hitting with Confusion again. Oops. Sorry about that. So it's going to keep using Confusion while Gimbu is asleep. And we're just having to hope it wakes up. It gets a critical. We wake up. But once again, we don't get to move when we wake up. Due to the flying type, we can't use Dig, and unfortunately we got confused while asleep. So we hit with Water Gun, and that did not do as much as I wanted. Hits us with Confusion, taking us down to 9 HP, and we hit ourselves in Confusion, knocking ourselves out. This is kind of a tougher battle than I expected. So this kind of shows you how good Butterfree can be. Poison's Paracy, but this can kind of be a blessing in disguise because if Parasy is paralyzed, he can't be put to sleep. If he's poisoned, he can't be put to sleep. We paralyze Butterfree right back, and now we just have to see if we can out damage it versus it damaging us. It hits us with confusion, does a good amount of damage, but it seems our scratch, that critical hit, was probably very important. And it looks like we might just be able to out damage this Butterfree for the win. Oh, it hits us with confusion. With that poison, we're going to be close. We barely survive with 2 HP, and we get the knockout. But most likely, Parasy will not survive the trip to the Pokemon Center, but it does gain a level, and so does Kaiser. So we should be able to make it back to the Pokemon Center safely as long as we stay out of the grass. But Parasy unfortunately faints. So let's heal back up before we kind of explore around Vermillion City. Okay. I'm going to drop off Dux. I don't really plan to use him even for the HM coming up. But he's not bad. And he has multiple uses, being the flying type, but also having the ability to learn the move cut that we're very close to getting. So if we head down here and head to the right, we can see we are at Vermillion Harbor. So the SSN is located down here. We will be saving that for next episode. But if we come over here to the east, we're able to access a new route. So notice, Route 12 may be blocked off by a sleeping Pokemon. Detour through Rock Tunnel to Lavender Town. Vermillion Police. So we're going to skip this cave for right now, but this is Route 11. This is another area where there's a lot of trainers, so if you want to level up, it's a great place to do it. On Route 11, we do have a new encounter available to us, Drowsy. Drowsy is a pure psychic type. We've met one earlier when we were fighting the Team Rocket member who stole the move Dig. And Drowsy's pretty good. Hypno, his evolved form, does hit pretty hard. And it's kind of a good replacement for Kadabra / Alakazam. If you don't have ability to trade, it kind of gives you access to the same moves with a fully evolved Pokemon. But either or can actually make a great party member. Seems Parasy is having another hard time with getting poisoned. And we might be able to take out this Ekans before getting knocked out if we get lucky. As long as it doesn't hit us. And it didn't with there, so we should get the knockout. Parasy gained some more experience. And Parasy is actually our strongest team member by level right now. So I'm going to have to switch Gimbu up top so I can start training him. To note, one thing I forgot to mention about Dig is like an escape rope. While you're in caves or all that, if you use it, it will immediately take you back to the entrance of the cave. So it does have more uses. I'm going to be running around, and yeah, Parasy will probably faint, but we can see our different encounters and maybe run into a Drowsy. So, as we can see, also available on this route is Sandshrew and Ekans for blue and red respectively, and there's also Spearows available here. So if you don't have a Spearow from earlier on or want a higher level Spearow to trade for Ducks, you can run into them fairly often here. In yellow version, you will find Pidgeys, Ratatatas, and Drowsy, just like here in red and blue version. But you also have access to Pidgeotto now 10% of the time, so it's a lot more common. So if you've held out, you can find it a little bit more. But now the rare 1% encounter is Eradicate. So as we can see as I'm moving around, there's a lot of trainers. So if you need to level up, this is a good place to do it. And I'm going to take out the Sandshrew with a water gun. Fairly simple fight. And Genbu grows to level 22, so Kaiser's the lowest level now. It's kind of surprising how good Parasy has been doing. I'm very surprised by him, but it kind of shows any Pokemon is viable in this game. You just kind of have to learn their strategy. So if we come around here and it's this upper area, I want to avoid these trainers. If you talk to this bush, you can find another escape rope. Not so useful now that I have Dig, but if I hadn't taught the move, we may need it for some of the future dungeons. We could go to Route 12, but I'm going to hold off on that until we can get the ability to go further on it. I'm going to walk around and look for a Drowsy. I don't plan to use them, but once again, collecting a fair amount of Pokemon and getting them in your decks is kind of useful because as we're going to be seeing soon, you can get rewards based off how many Pokemon you have caught. So hey, here's a Drowsy. Level 9, we got the low roll level wise. But like most psychic types in these games, they are very specially defensive and specialize in its special stat. Looking at Drowsy, it's a special stat of 90, so that's really good. It does have okay attack and defense in the 40s, but it kind of is HP and specially driven. And even when it's a Hypno, its special goes up to 115. And its HP is its second highest stat. So it's kind of supposed to be more of a bulky psychic type versus the Aber line being more of a special sweeper. So now we're going to head back to Vermillion, making sure we avoid all these trainers. And I'm going to hold off on them because later on we might get some team members who need some extra levels, and as we get the ability to move around more, coming back and finding some of these trainers can be fairly useful. So next time on Pokemon Blue, we are going to take on the SS Anne and complete everything that is available on it. So next time is the mandatory Gauntlet episode. So I will see you next time.